YouTube, Twitch, welcome back into some more Pokemon Champions. There are 2 days until the season ends, and I kind of mentioned this last time. I feel like every run we've done so far in MA1 and MA2, they've kind of been, not mean builds, that's a bit disingenuous, but I wouldn't say we've used the most optimal team in the game. And I will also say, I think the format was not long enough for a true meta to come out of there, even though certain Pokemon have got like insane usages right now. And that's kind of what the team is for today. I've actually picked a lot of the Pokemon that have got these insane usage stats, pulled them into one team, and want to just see how it goes. So, all these times where, I was setting up these skill swap shenanigan plays with Wandering Spirit and with Receiver, or using like Pokemon to like counter some of these threats, out the window. We are going to be the sheep. We're going to be with the rest of the masses. We're going to follow the norm. And what I think has been the norm is, the two Pokemon I think people were really concerned about going into Pokemon Champions as being real powerhouses, with the Mega Pokemon Charizard and Floette. And indeed, they were probably the two most like meta-defining Pokemon. Again, I don't want to say like, you had to play them or nothing else would work, because I don't think we ever got to the point fully where the meta was actually resolved. Clearly these like really strong, especially like Gen 8 beyond Pokemon, sure, they were like really strong as expected. They were strong in previous generations. They're still strong now. And assuming that nothing happens in MB, they're going to be still pretty strong going forwards. But I think there were certain strats, and even like, there's like a tournament going on for, I think it's North America International. Even there, we're seeing like bits of innovation. And actually, I think it was Chorin that was also like within the last week. There was some innovation there. For example, Lycanroc Dusk Mode saw a lot of play. Like, I think it was a top 8 used mod, which is actually crazy for what is not a great Pokemon, purely because it learned Accelerock and had Tough Claws. And Accelerock is a priority rock move that's only used, learned by Lycanroc, Dusk, and I don't know what the morning one's called. You assume it's Dawn Form, but I can't remember. I think it's called Dawn Form. They're the only two Pokemon that learn it. And if you like, you put the stats in such a way, it would just one-shot Charizard, because Charizard is 4 times weak to rock. So people were putting it into their teams as this just hard meta counter to Charizard. And obviously when people start doing that, then you have to like respect that Pokemon, and you change your team appropriately. Maybe you don't even put the Charizard in your team anymore. Maybe you go with something else. And in fact, people started using things like, oh my god, I forgot the name of the Pokemon now, Delphox. People started using Delphox as well as like a Charizard-like. And I think there was still some room to breathe. For example, Floette as well, people started running Mega Scizor to counter, because again, this gets priority Steel-type move with Technician that can just one-shot the Pokemon because it has a really poor defense stat. Despite this though, I think this is like close to like a team that is really strong out there. And I think if you look at the North America Internationals right now, I'm pretty certain it's being dominated by a certain few Pokemon. And actually, probably one of the biggest dominating Pokemon right now is actually not the Mega, but it's King Gambit. Now, I will say this, I don't think this is the 6th most used Pokemon, by the way. I tried to put together some, like, vague team format around it, so I did drop some Pokemon that probably should be on this list. Also, I don't have Legend ZA, so I can't use Floette, so I put in Dragonite Mega as, like, a replacement. It's not quite a like-for-like, but Dragonite Mega has seen a little bit of play here and there. And it kind of is like a Floette-like, but I'll talk about it later. Really, the 2 or 3 Pokemon I didn't really put into this team that probably should have been on the list. Sneasel is probably the big one. Sneasel's actually seen quite a lot of play, but I didn't put it into this team. Incineroar and Sinistra. I'll come back and mention those. So let's just work through the team as is. So why was Mega Charizard really strong? So Mega Charizard, when it Mega Evolves, by the way, it has 2 Mega Forms. It has Mega X, which gets Tough Claws and becomes a Dragon type. And it has Y, which still retains your Fire Flying typing, but it gives you the ability Drought. And in Drought, you set up the Sun. And in the Sun, Fire-type moves do 50% more damage, and this Pokemon has got an insanely high special attack stat. Like, it's really disgusting. Like, it's 177 on the base form. I don't know what it is on the Mega, but, like, it's more, like, it's a sizable chunk of damage. It also learns to move Heat Wave, which isn't often accurate, admittedly, but it's a spread move with Fire typing, and basically, if you don't resist Heat Wave, it's gonna kill you. Or if you don't, like, overwrite the weather, you will die in Sun Heat Wave. It's just a killing combo. Other moves on this Pokemon as well, it gets Weather Ball, which in the Sun becomes a 100 base power single target fire type move, which is more powerful than Flamethrower. And again, if you don't resist it, you're going to be deleted by that button. The nice thing about Weather Ball as well is if someone like tries to overwrite the weather as well, then suddenly your Charizard can launch out 100% base power Ice moves or 100% base power Water moves or Rock moves. And sometimes with the insane special attack on Charizard, that can be enough to pick up some like surprise kills here and there. Maybe you think you resist one type, you reset the weather, you become neutral to Charizard's weather ball in like rain or in ice, and it just one-shots you with this instead, so like really annoying. And then finally, you probably want to put in front of Charizard like a rock type, or a ground type, or a water type to resist fire type moves, but that's not good enough for Charizard, because Charizard gets the move Solar Beam. Solar Beam is a special attack that's normally balanced, it's 120 base power, it's normally balanced by the fact that it takes 2 turns to go off. However, if you're in the sun, it goes off in 1 turn. And Charizard Y sets up the sun, so that's like the premise of the Charizard. Normal counterplayers, I talked about the Lycanroc before, just get a rock type Pokemon to hit it, and it will die. It's 4 times weak to rock. So a lot of the rest of the teams around, like, protecting Charizard from the big rock type Pokemon. The other one, which as I said, the other Mega that I've not got in the team actually because I don't have it, is Floette. Charizard's pretty good into Floette, and Floette's got like an more insane special attack, got a more insane ability because it's got Fairy Aura, which boosts Fairy type moves, and it also has Dazzling Gleam for spread damage, so it kind of does a very similar brief to Charizard where it can just output disgusting damage, but unlike Charizard, it's not 4 times weak to anything, so that's like where the Floette comes into play. And it turned out, like, I think people were like going, who's going to be at the top, Charizard or Floette? And it kind of didn't matter in the end when the dust settled, because you just ran both of them. Why fight over first and second when we can both be first and second, basically? And yeah, that's how the meta evolved, and you pick 4 Pokemon around that to support that opening. And normally it's some of the other pretenders. I probably should also talk about King Gambit next, but I'll talk about Whimsicott first. I think Whimsicott's been probably the most prevalent of like what I would class as support Pokemons. Also, mine has got the wrong moveset. Hold on, let me trade this. This is my old war. I had Sunny Day on it. It doesn't have Sunny Day. But anyway, Whimsicott is a mon that gets... It gets the move... the ability Prankster. Prankster means that any move that a Pokemon loses that doesn't do any damage will go off with increased priority. The reason this is powerful in Whimsicott is Whimsicott gets the move Tailwind, which is an extremely powerful move for speed control. It doubles the speed of any Pokemon on your side of the field inside of the Tailwind. And some of these mons, like Charizard's pretty quick. It's not lightning quick, but like it's relatively fast. But inside of Tailwind, you're going to outspeed basically any other Pokemon in the game, bar none. So as long as your Whimsicott set up Tailwind and your Charizard's next to it, your Charizard can output huge damage, and your Whimsicott can make the Charizard fast enough, act before any of your opponents, and outputs this damage before they can really react to it. So it's a really nice combo. The other thing that's scary about like Charizard and Floette is that, as I said, you're doing massive spread damage, and maybe one of the things you want to do is like protect in front of it, like stall out the Tailwind, for example. But you can't. It's really dangerous to do that in front of Whimsicott because you protect for a turn, and suddenly Whimsicott has Encore with Prankster, which means it'll go before any other move in like that normal speed bracket. It'll Prankster Encore you, which means you get locked into the move you last used, and it can Encore protect you, and basically turns the 2v2 battle into a 2v1 type of battle. So like it's a really, really scary mon. And then also Whimsicott, not only is it like a Prankster setter, which again gives the increased priority, but you can get into this matchup where, like, if you've both got speed priority increase on your setup moves, it then goes down to the speed order of the Pokemon themselves. Like, for example, Talonflame can set up Tailwind as well, with Gale Wings, with priority. But Whimsicott is really quick as well, so, like, not even just with, like, its Prankster ability, this is a seriously fast Pokemon. In fact, I think it's the fastest Pokemon on my team. Not including the Choice Scarf, Basculegion, Whimsicott is the fastest Pokemon. So it doesn't even necessarily need the Prankster, but like it's obviously nice to have the Prankster, because then that also works in Trick Room as well. Which is the other thing that Whimsicott's pretty good at dealing with is Trick Room, because like one of the counters to Tailwind is going to Trick Room, so you underspeed your Pokemon, which is good in Trick Room. But if you do it in front of Whimsicott, it can Encore you. It's a Trick Room, which means you'll repeat the Trick Room, and you'll lose. So Whimsicott is a really strong Pokemon. And finally as well, the special attacks on this Pokemon is not terrible. So Moonblast on Whimsicott, it's pretty spooky, and like one of the things you might use to try and resist fire type moves in Charizard, in fact, resist basically every move Charizard's got, is a dragon type, but Whimsicott hits the dragons for super effective damage from Moonblast, so like they have a really nice synergy with one another. The final move on this Pokemon, I ran Sunny Data previous like move pool for some other Sun-related strategies, but actually you normally just run Protect as well, just to keep Whimsicott alive for as long as possible. The downside of Whimsicott is, firstly, it's got a 4 times weakness to Poison, which is not particularly great when there's a really strong Poison type Pokemon in the game. Got a weakness to Steel types as well, and generally it's pretty frail. However, there's an item in the game called Focus Sash, which means you take basically 2 hits. You can't be knocked out from full health, so you're going to take 2 hits to go down, and Whimsicott is a really good user of this item. So we'll set the focus action on Whimsicott. If it gets hit by a really strong move, it's probably going to live through the turn unless they've doubled it. If they've doubled it, they've not attacked the Charizard, and the Charizard will have its wicked ways with my opponents. So yeah, all in all, really, really strong Pokemon. Actually, I don't like this team particularly, I will say. And I have thrown together a lot of the strong Pokemon, so I wouldn't say it's like necessarily a team, but it kind of functions. I prefer more support Pokemon in my team. I prefer a bit more like thought process in the team, but really this is the only support I've got here. Whimsicott for Tailwind, for Encore. Everyone else is just big, beefy boys who are going to just pump out big damage. Arguably the king of the format right now is actually King Gambit, which is funnily enough because not a Pokemon that can Mega. But King Gambit has got like 205 attacks that if you max the attack. It's just disgusting. This thing has also got a nature boosting its attack stat. And one thing about King Gambit is it gets Stab, Sucker Punch with this insanely high attack stat. If you try and put an attack out, King Gambit can like chunk you for, I mean, some Pokemon get chunked for their full health. But a lot of Pokemon, even if you're like a neutral into Sucker Punch or into Dark types, you're taking like half your health if you're putting out an attack into King Gambit. Like, it's really, really like obnoxious as a mon. I think this is like the most like reasonable moveset for King Gambit. I actually prefer the Swords Dance set, but I think most people now are running Low Kick to actually counter all the King Gambits out there, because King Gambit is a Pokemon that is 4 times weak to fighting. That's like his big weakness. However, there's an item called Toppleberry which reduces super effective fighting damage by half, which means that King Gambit can actually live through some like pretty shocking hits actually. So yeah, so King Gambit's in the team. Sucker Punch turns games in from 2v2s into like potentially 1v1s, and it's just outright disgustingly strong. I also prefer to run Iron Head on my Mon so they can hit the fairy types as well. For example, Floette. But hopefully Charizard can just deal with the Floette, and then King Gambit can just deal with the other Pokemon out there. Also, for the sake of like low kick stuff, again, if there's a really strong rock type Pokemon that's in there, like T-Tar, for example, which has a pretty good matchup into Charizard, like it's a weather resetter and does super effective damage to Charizard. It is also 4 times weak to fighting type attacks, so King Gambit can really stall these like sand rock based teams that could otherwise really threaten your Charizard. Not a lot else to say other than that. Dark Steel's actually a pretty good typing as well. Like, I know it's got its 4 times weakness to fighting, which feels pretty bad, but anytime you put Steel typing on a Pokemon, it normally gives it a pretty big defensive boost. And with the insane attack stat, like, if you don't one-shot this Pokemon, it can get to be a real nightmare. And as I said, if you get the Swords Dance set, which is the one I prefer, where you drop the low kick for Swords Dance, if this thing ever sets up a Sword Dance in front of you, good luck, because then you are probably one-shotting most things with Sucker Punch. Which, by the way, is a move that has increased priority, but only works if the opposing Pokemon is using an attacking move. So yeah, it's really, really, really obnoxious to fight against. Oh, in fact, I forgot about the big obnoxious thing. It's got Defiant. Defiant means that if any stat on this Pokemon is ever lowered, its attack goes up by 2 stages. And this is really important because one of the stronger abilities in the game is Intimidate. Intimidate would normally lower your attack by 1 stage, which would be a really good answer to Sucker Punch King Gambit. However, if you do that in front of King Gambit, you actually give it an attack boost instead. So it's like a really good check for things like Incineroar. And then maybe like Tauros, for example, as well, which gets Intimidate and is a fighting type. So yeah, King Gambit, like, it's really, really disgusting as a Pokemon. Speaking of disgusting Pokemon, we have Basculegion next, which I nearly didn't put in this team because, like, theoretically you don't really want water types in your Sun mode, but I might not use Basculegion with the Charizard all the time. Also, Basculegion is kind of like, I won't say an exception to the rule, but it can do some special things with with the Charizard in the team. Namely, one of the things Basculegion is great at is outputting disgusting water and ghost damage. It gets the ability Adaptability. Adaptability means that I think it changes your moves from being 1.5 times more effective with like Stab to being 2 times more effective in total. Like, it's a double power boost to anything that shares the type with your move. So that's really strong to begin with. Again, Basculegion is a Gen 8.5-ish Pokemon. Came out in Legends Arceus, right? And it has 180 base attack stats. That is really disgusting. That's really, really high. This Pokemon then gets things like Aqua Jet, which is a priority water move, which, with this insane attack stat, it's not just finishing off Pokemon, it's like just finishing Pokemon. If you don't, like, well, not resist it, but like, if you have a weakness to water typing and a Basculegion Aqua Jets you, you're gonna know about it with like Adaptability, Aqua Jet. It could hit you easily for like 1/3 to like 2/3 of your health even. Also gets Flip Turn, which is a move that works kind of like U-turn. You attack a Pokemon and swap it out. And this is like where the power of Basculegion sort of lies with the Sun mode. You can potentially like scout out information. You can put Whimsicott next to Basculegion. Go for like your Tailwind turn. Your Basculegion can Flip Turn, see what's there. You can swap in then what's better for the opening matchup. Do a big chunk of damage because Basculegion, as I said, adaptability, water type move, disgusting. Maybe you enter your Charizard, then you set up the Sun. And by the time you come back to your Basculegion later in the game, maybe your Sun is over and you can like stall it out for a little bit. Finally, well, I guess not finally, but there's also Wave Crash in this Pokemon. Wave Crash is a really high physical attacking water type move, which does recoil damage, but with adaptability, it's basically the delete key. It kind of doesn't matter you take the recoil damage because as long as you pick up the one-shot kill, you're taking less damage than you would have taken from your opponent attacking you. There are other sets of the Basculegion. I'm running Choice Scarf because one of the issues with Basculegion is actually a little bit slow, but with the Choice Scarf, it makes it actually pretty sharpish. You can run a Focus Sash set as well, but rather than using Wave Crash because you don't want to take recoil damage on the Focus Sash, you run Liquidation instead, which is very slightly weaker than Wave Crash, but like it still really pumps out the old damage. The final move on this Pokemon again, which is like probably like the final really disgusting part of the moveset, is Last Respects. Last Respects is a Ghost type physical move that does 50 base power worth of damage. Now that seems really boring, right? That's not very interesting. That's garbage. But actually, the problem with Last Respects is it gets 50 more base power for each time one of your Pokemon faints. So if your leads go down and Basculegion's in the back, your Last Respects becomes a 150 base power Ghost type move with adaptability, with a 180 attack stat. Again, that is just a delete key. You are going to die unless you resist it or you're a normal type and you're immune to it. There are some pretty big counters to the Basculegion. For example, actually just sending up the Sun against it is really strong. So as I said, it's not great with the Charizard, but it can still function. Especially not in my Charizard mode, but in my other modes. But yeah, that would weaken water type moves in the Sun by half, so your Basculegion would not hit as quite as hard. Also, Basculegion's got a real issue with normal types, especially actually things like, oh my god, what's it called now? The weird little lizards thing. Its name's completely gone to me, but there's an electric lizard we ran a few episodes ago as the hard water Basculegion, which gets dry skin, which means you're immune to water types. And if you're a normal type Pokemon, you're also immune to Ghost. But just in general, like normal typing is pretty scary for the Basculegion because you want to be finishing off Pokemon with Last Respects at the end of the battle. And if there's a normal type remaining at the end of the game, you can't really do that with Basculegion. Next on the list is Garchomp. Garchomp is pretty good with the Charizard mode because you want to be pushing big Earthquakes because again, Garchomp, 200 base attack. Notice the pattern here. Fairly quick Pokemon as well, and you want to just push the Earthquake. Stab hits everything on the field for big damage. Normal issue is it hits your own Pokemon, but with a Charizard, you don't need to worry about it because flying types are immune to ground, so there is a really good synergy between Garchomp and Charizard. Garchomp normally has a big issue with Ice types. Charizard melts Ice types. Garchomp has a bit of an issue with Fairy types. Charizard can do some good things to the Fairy types as well, so like there's a really nice synergy between the two. In terms of moves on this thing, I've got Rock Slide. Again, if I want to counter opposing Charizards, they don't want to be hit by a Rock-type move, especially from a Garchomp, they are going to die. Dragon Claw if I need to deal with some other dragons out there. And I finally got Poison Jab in this Pokemon, which is like a bit of an interesting tech move. Garchomp has a bit of an issue with fairies, and in general my team's not great into fairies, especially with King Gambit without a Steel-type move on it. So, being able to do a pretty reasonable chunk of physical damage on a Poison Jab with Garchomp, pretty good, especially since the Garchomp is holding a Roselli Berry, which means I take half damage from super effective fairy type moves. So there's actually not too many fairies out there that can just one-shot the Garchomp. Finally is my Floette. Sadly I don't have Legends ZA, so I don't have Floette. So I couldn't show off Floette in all its glory, but I kind of came to the conclusion that Dragonite's kind of like Floette, right? It's pretty close, because what do you have Floette for? Well, Floette does fairy type damage, big fairy type damage. And that's good into dragon types. Dragonite, being a dragon type, is good into dragon types. It's also a special attacker. Also, fairy type, good into fighting type. Dragonite is a flying type. It's also good into the old fighting type. So actually, there's kind of like an overlap between the two. And actually, Dragonite's quite good into Charizard, because Charizard's got a weakness to electricity. And Dragonite, when it Mega Evolves, becomes a really strong special attacker. And it learns Thunderbolt. Also, it's hard to move Dragonite off the field. I've put in the base form multi-scale. I probably shouldn't have done, actually. I don't know. We could have had inner focus if I was going to try and run Dragonite as its base mode, but I'm probably only ever going to bring Dragonite if I'm going to Mega it. When it Mega Evolves, it also gets multi-scale again. Multi-scale means you take half damage when you're at full health. So not many things can just one-shot a Dragonite, except for we have a 4x weakness to Ice. But again, in the Ice mode, we bring Charizard instead. So there's a bit of synergy between the two modes. We have Dragon Pulse if I want to do some big damage to Dragon types. We have Air Slash if I need to deal with the old fighting types. So all in all, and then finally, there's some nice things with Garchomp. Again, Earthquake. Next to a Dragonite, Dragonite's a flying type, so it can freely Earthquake with no worries in the world. And actually, the only Pokemon you can't really Earthquake next to with any worries in the world is Kingambit and Basculegion, maybe. Even Whimsicott, I'd rather not Earthquake my own Whimsicott, but it does resist ground type damage, so it wouldn't be the absolute end of the world, but it'd be pretty annoying. As I said, the final three Pokemon I should mention, especially Sneasler. I think Sneasler's second in the usage. It's a bit behind Kingambit. It's pretty good into Kingambit. It's pretty good into Flirt as well, being a poison-type Pokemon. It gets the ability Unburden. In fact, there's a few different sets you can run for the Sneasler. I think the more common one is Unburden, where if you use up your held item, your speed doubles. Normally you run a White Herb on it to use Close Combat. Close Combat lowers your own stats, which triggers the White Herb, which stops your stats being lowered one time. And then it triggers Unburden, you go twice as fast. It's a really scary mon, especially with Fake Out, which is really, really powerful in the game in general. Just to control the flow of the battle. Again, turn your 2v2s into 1v1s, where you control who's 1v1ing who. Similarly, I think in the Sneasler teams you often see Incineroar. It's kind of quite similar to the old Balance team with Rillaboom, where they had two Fake Out mons, and Incineroar also lowers the attack stat. It was probably better with Rillaboom, because Rillaboom could also set up Grassy Terrain to heal heal every Pokemon I guess, but heal the Pokemon on the field. Whereas with Sneasler, you're just looking at eventually becoming this unstoppable speed demon. But it's still pretty powerful. So yeah, these two normally get run together. Not always, but they're fairly popular. But I didn't quite fit it into this team. The other reason I didn't do this is I've actually run Incineroar a few teams now, so I didn't really want to put Incineroar on this team, but it's probably around the top 6 usage. Sneasler, I think, is definitely in the top 6 usage. Probably should have been the team, but I wanted to use some of these Pokemon. Also, when the next set comes out, I have some plans with Sneasler anyway, so we'll be seeing Sneasler, don't worry. The final one I just want to quickly mention as well, in terms of usage, is Sinistcha, which I've not fit into this team. Again, I've used the Teacup already. Probably in terms of redirectors, it's probably the best one in the game right now. With one maybe exception, which we saw before, Scovillain, especially Mega Scovillain, where you set off, is it called Spicy Spray? I always forget which one's the ability, which one's the move. Spicy X or Spicy Spray? I think it's Spicy Spray. If you're attacked with a physical move, you burn the physical attacker. And they both get Rage Powder. They both see in a reasonable amount of play, because a lot of the Pokemon out here are strong physical attackers, like Kingambit, Basculegion, Garchomp, Sneasler, all physical attackers. But yeah, Sinistcha is also pretty good. It has Hospitality, which is a disgusting ability. When you swap in, you give your ally Pokemon 25% health back. It also gets things like Life Dew, which again heals you and your partner for 25% health. Gets Matcha Gotcha, a spread grass type move that has a chance of burning and also recovers Sinistcha. Is really disgusting. Trick Room Setter if I want to be in a Trick Room or a Tailwind mode, because I don't actually have a Trick Room mode in this team because I'm actually quite quick. And then just in general, being a Rage-powered Pokemon with a Ghost typing, it means that if a normal type or a fighting type move comes into you, you always have to worry about Rage-powered into a Ghost and just your move not working, just fizzling. So yeah, I think they're the classic ones. We'll go with these 6 though. And yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable representation of the strongest Pokemon, with the exception of Silhouette and maybe Sneasler. Alright, let's try this team. Normally when I'm preparing these teams as well, I sit down for a day or two just thinking about it, going what would I bring in this situation? What would I do here? What would I do now? I've really not done that with this team. I've sort of just grabbed the... I looked at the 6 or 7 most popular mods. I was I'll just put these all into a team, then substitute Dragonite in. So we're gonna just wing it, basically, and hope that just the power of the Pokemon take us to the Promised Lands. But yeah, today is probably the last time I'm going to play on Legends on Regulation MA. MB comes out in 2 days' time. And I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do in MB. Okay, there is some shenanigans going on here. They have got they've got 4 Pokemon that can Mega, 5 Pokemon that can Mega. The only one that can't Mega is Incineroar. They have 2 fairly strong dragons. I actually might go with my Dragonite mode here. Because I don't really love the Charizard into Florigator. It has a 4 times resistance to fire. So I might run this with Whimsy. I'm a little bit worried about speed swap on the Alakazam. I'm worried about a few things here, actually. I think King Gambit is a reasonable bring. Especially with the Incineroar out there. I also, it's a touch risky to bring Dragonite to Dragonite with multi-scale stuff. I think I'm max speed, so. But do I just not bring Basculation? Do I bring Garchomp? They have 2 Pokemon weak to ground-type moves. I'll go with this. But just trying to make a better team without the teacup. I know. I am a bit confused at the 5 potential Megas. I suspect Alakazam won't Mega. But I never know. It is Alakazam and Gengar. So Alakazam's probably the fastest Pokemon here. I can Prankster Tailwind, and it's particularly frail. More physically than anything else. I'm also a touch concerned about the Gengar, because he does get Fairy-type moves. What is going on here? You know what? Actually, change of plans. I won't get the Tailwind off. I was going to protect because I think the Gengar will attack the Whimsicott, but actually, if the Whimsicott dies right now, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me because I'll get Garchomp in. Okay, Nasty Plot's not too scary right now. They just rolled on Hypnosis. That makes me sad. I don't know what the damage calc on this is. I actually suspect I don't kill, but I want to put some pressure on the Alakazam since it's just Nasty Plotted. I do pick up the kill. I don't think Gengar could pick up the kill on the Dragonite. It might Hypnosis the Whimsicott. No, going for Sludge Bomb. Just to leave me on Sash. Hopefully... Actually, I was going to say hopefully no poison, but... Again, it wouldn't be the end of the world if Whimsicott went down this turn. Okay, Whimsicott's going to die this turn. It looks bad that I got poisoned, but actually, I think in this situation, it's fairly good for me. I should really look at the other Pokemon, but they had 2 Pokemon weak to ground. One of them on the field. I think the other one was not Florigator. I could really do with waking up this turn, buddy. I think they'll Mega Florigator here. But they can only take 1. Okay, got Max Sleep turns, good. It's Sash Gengar. They just raw dog 260 accurate Hypnosises to potentially win the game. Alright, with Multiscale I live this. This is the last turn of Sleep. Never mind, it's Dragon Tail about. But honestly, this is fine. I could work with this. He says. I think the Gengar doesn't scare me. I think it's the Florigator I have to deal with. It might actually have Earthquake. Come on, one turn sleep. Like, that's so strong. Like, it's not a frail Pokemon for Alligator. 3 Hypnosises! They're 60% accurate! You can't miss them! I guess I should have killed it. Oh no, he wouldn't have worked with Sucker Punch. Okay, that's the rough skid. Not the way I thought that was going to go, but I'll take it. I lose Tailwind and I can't reset it up. So Gengar might be the fastest Pokemon in the game now. Actually, I can't remember. Maybe Dragonite's faster. They still not Mega, so it must be Mega Lucario. I've been hard trolled by the game, to the likes of which we've never seen before. I think actually, I could swap the King Gambit here. It's a little bit risky. You know what? I'll make the move. I can't use this because it's disabled. So Gengar is faster than Garchomp, which is not a shock. Okay. And I resist this. Ow. Alright, King Gambit, I just need you to wake up, buddy. Also, Dragonite, I need you to wake up. I just realized you were still asleep. You know what? Some games are just not meant to win. I've been hit with 3 60 accurate Hypnosis. I've had max sleep turns. I was gonna say, I don't think I take this with Chop Lever. I've had max sleep turns on my Dragonite. Like, don't do the lottery. You will not be winning. You've used up all your luck in one game. That was actually crazy. Okay, Snap. It's based on the same concept. Sylveon was like around that layer as well. If you don't have Fluette, Sylveon's a reasonable replacement as well. Especially if you want to do Trick Room stuff because it's quite slow, I believe. I think Sylveon's fairly slow, right? It's like 60 base speed. I don't know if I can be bothered doing the Charizard mode into the Charizard mode. I feel like it's a really unfair, fun matchup. So I might bring the old Dragonite. Also semi-tempted to bring Basculegion in the front, because I think Basculegion's okay here. I would... It's kind of awkward to not bring Garchomp, but surely they'll bring Incineroar. Let's do this. I am leaving my Rock Slide Pokemon behind. You know what? Let's do this. They won't bring Incineroar. Oh yeah, the Black Charizards are shiny. So again, fun factoid before this. I got a I got a shiny Charizard in the game. It's the first shiny I've got. I kind of decided it was Destiny that I should do this video. Sylveon Whimsicott. So we can basically just play the speed turn. My back is weak to Fairy. I didn't expect both. Honestly, I'm taking the damage. We might be speed tied, so this might actually be very lucky. Well, no, it won't look for me. I was going to say, they're probably both Tailwinded. Yeah, fine. Alright, we trade Tailwinds. Nice. Sylveon normally runs Fairy Feather. It was a big threat to my back, so I'm glad to get rid of it. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a swag option to have the shinies. Although, I think a lot of shinies aren't actually that good looking. Okay, so there's a really awkward situation that have occurred now, because again, I think we might be speed-tied on the Whimsicots. Right, I'm scarfed, I forgot. But I kind of want to encore theirs. But they could encore mine. You know what, let's protect. Let's see what they do. It's the other kind of thing about Whimsicott, because it can get fake tears as well, which lowers your special defense by 2 stages. I just don't know which they're going to use. Yeah, try to encore me. So, it makes me think that they're max speed, otherwise they wouldn't have made this play. Which makes everything a little bit risky now. Because I could get Encored to protect as well, which I'd rather not do. I don't really want to go into Garchomp. Although... no, it'd be pretty bad if the Whimsicott attacks the slot. I guess I have to take the speed tie. Let me do that. Let's see what happens. Charizard comes out. Okay, fair enough. The attack drop doesn't matter, we're both special attackers. Though, Insane is pretty bulky. Can I show we didn't go for Garchomp? Because actually Garchomp would have been somewhat nice there. Though I would have got intimidated. So they attacked. So I think in the end, compared to the plays I was going to make, I've made the right play. Oh, they got Gleam. You know what? I don't know what I was thinking there. That's my bad. I just didn't even consider on faking me out there. This breaks the Sash. Is this a good idea? I should have swapped the turn, I was going to say. I should have swapped. I'm in this really awkward situation now where I want to kill the Whimsicott, but... I'm basically just giving up my Mega. We'll see. If they've not Tailwinded this turn... okay, cool. So I deny them Tailwind. So now it doesn't matter if my Mega goes down because Garchomp can beat Charizard. And they can't swap the Insane out anymore. My worry was they were both going to Tailwind, and I think Charizard's faster than Garchomp. I still think Garchomp would have won the matchup, but I just got Basculegion as well. So the biggest threat to me now is actually the Incineroar, I think. Yeah, it's probably Incineroar. Because it resists Basculegion. Yeah, I need to get rid of it. I'll go for this line. I'm a little bit concerned by it because I could miss the Rock Slide. That's fine. Well, if I miss the Rock Slide, it's still not actually ideal. I think the right play was to actually Earthquake, because I think as soon as Incineroar dies, I win the game. Okay, never punished. Because now I can do a 150 base power less respects. Sun's gone as well, which I didn't even consider. So this should be game. It was super risky, actually. Now I think about it, I probably should have brought this team into the Sylveon. But fortunately, my lead was just so good, and they let me take the Sylveon. Otherwise, it'd be a whole different game. By the way, I was considering as well, not a lot of people do this. This is like the classic Charizard Y style, which is kind of makes sense for what I'm deeming as like the classic video. I didn't realize Charizard Y gets, still in the same team, Charizard Y gets Ancient Power, which just one-shots other Charizard. So I was tempted to put that on it as a little sneaky maneuver, but I didn't. Okay, let's lead with you. They don't have Whimsicott. So if I get Tailwind with Whimsicott, we're going to be in a good spot. It's probably another game where the Charizard's really good, but I think I'll have to bring Dragonite again. I really don't want to bring Charizard into Charizard. I don't like having like mirror matches. I think it's really boring. So I'll do this. The question is now, do I bring Garchomp knowing they've got Sylveon again? It's a little bit suspect, is what I would call it. However, if I don't, well, I guess I should King Gambit into King Gambit. It's not the worst matchup for me. Depends what King Gambit is. Sure, I'll buy it. I'll bring King Gambit this time. I think this is what I should have done last time. Also, remind yourself, I got Choice Scarf on my Basculegion. I was umming and ahhing before I did this because you can run Choice Scarf on Garchomp, which is what I did on a previous video, actually. Or I could have run it on the Basculegion, or you can like run sets without the Choice Scarf on it, and I forgot which way around I did it. But I decided to put it on the Basculegion. Sylveon and Aerodactyl. I am going to go aggressive. I should probably deal with the Sylveon. However... Wait, should I just deal with the Sylveon here? Yes. I was going to try and stop the Tailwind, but actually the Sylveon's the scarier Pokemon, I think, here for me. And this surely just one-shots it. Oh, it doesn't quite get it. Okay, there's a bit of bulk on it. Or it's a roll. Alright, Whimsicott's going to go down, but actually that's... not the end of the world, question mark? I think I'm willing to let Basculegion go down as well. Because I have speed control right now. You can swap if you want. And I'm going to T-bolt the Sylveon slot in case Charizard comes in. Actually, that was a bit of a risk, because they've got Garchomp as well, right? To swap the Garchomp, it'd be pretty sad for me. Okay, this is fine, but it doesn't really progress the game state for them. Okay, so it's not Sash Aerodactyl, which is the other thing that could have happened. Honestly, I should probably attack the Aerodactyl as well. Just in case it was not Mega. I think it is Mega. I lose Basculegion, so we've got 2 for 2. Wait, have we got 2 for 2 or am I dumb? No, I'm dumb. We've not quite killed the Sylveon yet. It is Garchomp, so I'm potentially lucky there. So I'm pretty certain in Tailwind I'm faster than the Sylveon, but probably not faster than the Garchomp. I doubt it's Sash Garchomp, you never know. If I get done by Sash Garchomp, so be it. That's multi-scale broken. I'm surprised you took that. This could be real bad for me. Because they've probably locked into Earthquake. Rock Slide. Just don't flinch, buddy. Don't flinch, King Gambit. Okay. And it's Charizard. This is the last turn of Tailwind. They're probably going to do a Protect. But I'll play around them not doing the Protect. That's just fucking really dumb. I think I should have just gone for the Charizard. I might not kill here. I'm kind of assuming the Thunderbolt will kill the Charizard. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, hang on a minute, does this actually kill? It's not stab. I've got a really high special attack though. It didn't even come close. Do we take this, Dragonite? You do resist it. You do. Okay. No harm, no foul. I was like, we should do it this way around. Because I don't know what the item is on the Garchomp, but it might have been Choice Scarf, so I didn't want to just leave it up. I'm pretty certain, if I remember, Dragonite Mega is faster than Charizard Mega. I could be really wrong here. Again, I didn't really research the team that much. But I think I'm faster, right? If we're not, we're going to lose. Okay. So I played out to the out of a win condition, but maybe I should have just Sucker Punched the Charizard. That being said, if I Sucker Punched the Charizard, I think I would have gone down. Maybe I would have gone down on the King Gambit to Earthquake. That's what I was kind of concerned about, or Headlong Rush. Like, okay, I'll explain it. So I was concerned that there was Choice Scarf Garchomp, which I didn't know if it was or wasn't because I had Tailwind on my side. And I think I'm faster than Choice Scarf Garchomp. I was worried about Earthquake or Headlong Rush into King Gambit. Kill the King Gambit. I'd take the Charizard with a Sucker Punch and T-Ball, because I think it would have killed. Then I would have had Dragonite versus Garchomp, not in Tailwind, and I think Choice Scarf Garchomp is faster than their Dragonite, and then it would have been single target Rock Slide into me, which could have flinched and killed me. So I think I was right in the end, but it didn't feel good to take a Heat Wave in front of Charizard. In the sun. they have Ditto. I'm very concerned. They also have Glamora, so it's probably Mega Glamora. I'm gonna level with you. I kind of right now don't see what stops me from leading with like Mega Charizard plus something like Garchomp even. I assume it's Tailwind on the Gliscor. I could make a much safer play as well, which I probably should just take the safer play. I'll try and bring Charizard. I've not brought it yet. It's not great, but also not bad here. And it's almost certainly you. I do have to be a touch careful because Hisuian Zoroark is not a great matchup into Basculegion. I have to play the game of Basculegion into Hisuian Zoroark. Of can I last respect his Pokemon or is it a traitor? Because I can't get a normal type. Okay. I think the Ditto is going to copy Whimsicott. I'm pretty sure that's how this... Oh, it doesn't have Imposter? They have to manually transform? That's crazy. Because it transforms to what's opposite it, I believe is the way this goes. Alright, well, let's do this, because I think that's fine. This should do some disgusting damage still, even without the wave crash. But let's go for this. Oh, hang on a minute. It might be Zoroark, I've just realised. Because it won't have Imposter. Okay, it's Hisuian Zoroark. I see who it is. Didn't quite get the Gliscor. I suspect it was... Maybe it wasn't Sash Gliscor now that I think about it. The Sash is probably on the Zoroark. I think you might Ghost Move this slot. We'll go for King Gambit. Yeah, that's Zoroark. Okay. I found it. There's the Imposter. Holy shit, Toxic Spikes. It's a pity that it only affects one of my Pokemon that's left. It's Leftovers on Gliscor. So, okay, I can't Encore Ditto as a Dark... Wait, no, I can Encore Ditto. It's not a Dark type. It's a Ghost normal type. Right? I'm safe here. I can't remember how fast Gliscor is either, but I suspect it's not faster than Tailwind King Gambit. I could be very wrong here, though. Alright, so Ditto, aka Zoroark, is going to now nasty plot the night away. Which is pretty spooky. It's +4 special attack. Alright, Toxic Spikes are up, so they're going to try and stall me, I guess. But I said it won't work on Charizard, so... I've tried stall, buddy! It doesn't work, although maybe I should have considered Toxic in my stall comp. The actual classic stall move, Toxic. Rather than Salt Cure after a nerf. That's a slightly problematic Pokemon. That might be faster than King Gambit in Tailwind. Surprise! Alright, we don't know where the Sash is still. I wonder if they're gonna go full stall. I wonder if it's got mortal... Well, they won't do it against King Gambit anyway. Alright, that's not the right target, buddy. I was really worried about just one-shotting the King Gambit, but... Now we're good. Don't poison me. Good. So last turn a Tailwind, right? Yes. But honestly, Tailwind has done more than enough. I'm pretty certain the Charizard's faster than Glamora. I could also keep the Whimsicott alive. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see any way that you stop this. No, there is a way. No, there isn't a way. Because you're on card. I was going to say, if you have Shadow Sneak, you could get me, but you can't have Shadow Sneak. Or at least you can have it, but you can't use it. So that's the 4v1. And I know the last Pokemon is Ditto. Because that's how you illusioned into it. So I don't know how Ditto works in the 1v2 situation. Do you have to take my first Pokemon, aka do you have to take Whimsicott right now? That's not what you want. Oh, I bet you can pick the slot. Yeah, you can pick the slot. Okay, so they turn into King Gambit. Hasn't Tailwind ended, game? You didn't tell me. I'm pretty certain Tailwind is over. So let me reset up Tailwind, although it shouldn't matter too much. Goodbye. Like, you could have theoretically Sucker Punched my Whimsicott, which is why I Tailwinded, and then I was just faster than your King Gambit. Alright, we didn't lose a Pokemon, which is good for dailies or weeklies, whatever they are. You know what, though? I want an applause for my opponent. They're trying to, like, you know, they're trying to work outside of the box. I respect that. I'm not sure the Hisuian Zoroark into Ditto play is the right one. Especially when it doesn't transform turn 1. Normally when you're using Hisuian Zoroark, you want to use an ability which is like a secretive ability, doesn't go off immediate, like Intimidate, for example. Or Drought. Otherwise, you know who it is. Steelix, Hisuian Zoroark's back again. Vaporeon, Sableye, Charizard, Hisuian Decidueye. What in God's green earth is this? So, again, I don't want to bring Charizard to Charizard because I just think it's really boring. So I'll bring Dragonite. I have to play the fun games of, is this Basculegion or not? Garchomp is okay here, but not great. I have to be a bit careful of Hisuian Decidueye as well. It's not as bad as I think people give it credit for. Dragonite's definitely coming. It's just, do I lead Dragonite here? What's the punish if I lead Dragonite? Probably the Steelix. Wait, this can't be Mega Steelix. Where's your Sand mode? It has to be... Sableye doesn't get Sandstorm, I think. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what? If in doubt, I'll lead Mega plus Whimsicott. I think you're fine in the back for this Hisuian check. I don't love bringing Basculegion in the back when Charizard's around, so I'll bring Garchomp instead. It also means I don't have to play Hisuian Zoroark games of, can I hit this with a Ghost-type move or not? Interesting, is what I'll call this. This might be a screen. Which is concerning, because it would probably be light. Sableye's a dark type as well, so I can't Prankster it. You know what? I'm going to go against the norm slightly. I'm actually going to double the Charizard. Because I know T-Bolt now won't kill the Charizard. I think it's going to be a screen, so I want to get as much damage as possible. If it protects, I'll Encore it. To be honest with you, I think Sableye will have Fake Out as well. That's my prediction. So it might Fake Out the... We'll see. So we're all staying in. But no Mega on the Charizard. Okay, Fake Out into here to break the multi-scale. Charizard has issues with Dragonite that can't deal with it particularly well. I do get some damage into the Charizard. Not a lot, but it's sort of... That is humongous. The 10% special attack drop. It's physical. It's Charizard X. Don't burn me. Huge. Okay, so it's X. So I think I should Dragon Pulse it then. Just in case it Megas, because it'll resist electricity otherwise. And I'll get Tailwind up. Because my party's going to need it. Yep, Charizard X. So this is the less common version of the Charizard. It gets Tough Claws into the physical attack, I think, more than anything. Hence the Tough Claws. However, it's nowhere near as explosive as the Y version. Still good, though. Holy shit, I didn't think about Quash. Whoops. My opponent's a genius. Fucking Sableye. I just assume it's going to put a screen up in front of it. Okay, so it's lost its flying typing, so I can actually go with Earthquakes now. So annoying. By the way, there's an interaction here. If I Encore Charizard, which I'm about to do, and it didn't go for an attack this turn, okay, fine, we're good. And it Encored it back into an attack again, it won't trigger Sucker Punch. Which is why I counter Clean, not Sucker Punch. Shockingly, the crit didn't matter. This is so awkward. I think I need to, like, ignore the Sableye to some degree, but it's really hard to ignore it. Because it can't actually output that much damage, especially to King Gambit. Although I can't really do too much damage back into it. Oh, actually, that's not fair. I can do a lot of damage back into it. Of all the targets to miss, that's not the worst one, actually. If I'd missed Charizard, I would just lost on the spot. Holy shit, that thing hits like a truck. Alright, turns out I can't leave this thing alone, I think. Although, maybe I try and get King Gambit to win, like, the 1v3. Fuck, I'm really worried about Quash. That thing's got a really strong fighting type move. I'm a dark type. Please kill. Let's go. Okay, my opponent makes one misplay after being a genius for 2 turns. So you're saying there's a chance. I'm pretty sure if they just quashed the Garchomp, I couldn't have won there. I think Sableye now is the scary Pokemon. You know what? I should not have Sucker Punched here. This was such a bad play. I should have kowtowed. Because if they quash me this turn, which they have done, sad things are about to occur. Never mind, if Encored me. That's actually a pretty good result for me. Why did I Sucker Punch? Poison! Don't burn me. Alright, we're all misplaying now. I have to get rid of this thing. It's actually by far away the scariest Pokemon. I'm Encored, so I have to Poison Jab. They can't quash King Gambit, it's a dark type. Poison. Yes! Okay, well, it's nice. That's Garchomp gone. Mr. Gambit. Please kill. Okay. It's negative damage. Leftovers is going to offset the poison. Trying to see what they do. God, that turn when I Sucker Punch, if I just Kowtow Cleaved, I would have won this game, I think. Oh, pain. I just didn't think about that. I was like, they're going to try and pick up the kill with the Sableye, but why would they ever pick up the kill with the Sableye there? It just didn't make any sense. I think I need to crit to win this. Also, my opponent can outplay me here. If they just don't lock into an attack, I lose. So now I need to live Scald. That is not the move I think you should have used. Perhaps a hot take. I don't know who's quicker. It's the problem now. Vaporeon is really slow. It's more of a bulky Pokemon, but so is King Gambit. I think actually it might be Speed Tide as well. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not leaving it to chance. If you are faster than me, so be it. You might not kill me anyway. Okay. It's such a weird end game. Okay, now I lose. If I didn't get burnt, there was a chance. But now there's no world where I win. Yeah, I misplayed one turn. Well, to be fair, they misplayed another turn, so it kind of evened out. Should probably shout out Sableye at the beginning as well. Sableye plus Arch was like the meta for like the first week or two of the game, but it's kind of dropped off now. But Sableye is a really fucking annoying Pokemon. Everybody's running Charizard. This is actually a really scary team for me. Because I don't like to bring the Charizard into Charizard mirror match, but I actually don't really want to bring Dragonite into Alola Ninetales. So, I think I might do the Charizard mode. But it is real spooky. I also don't really want to bring Galtrop. I have got some weaknesses to Ice typing. I mentioned it on the intro. Alright, well, Charizard's gonna have to come, but do I actually lead with it? I'm really not a fan of this. I don't like it. The Hewing Ninetales is so scary for me. Ice and Fairy, and I've got two dragons, both weak, which are double weak to ice. Sorry, 4 times weak to ice. I guess this is why you might want to run the Sneasler instead. I'll go with these 4. But we could get some real funny business. I probably should have also just led the Basque. Okay, the lead is actually what I thought it was going to be. Which is good, because I can actually overwrite Snow. I mean, my opponent has to respect this. I don't think this is an obvious play. The dream is the Aurora Veil. By the way, I can't help but remember, does Greninja get skill swap? Because this is one of the reasons why I'm focusing it, because I've got some funny feeling I remember some set when I started playing Champions of, like, swapping abilities around with Greninja. I don't think it was Greninja that had it, though. But I think Greninja was a target I was considering. I just don't want to set up the double hit Blizzard with sensitive accurate. See, please don't freeze me. At least on Whimsicott. Crit my Charizard as well. Crit both! 70 accurate move. Good. Didn't really matter because I think it was going to take me to Sesh anyway. Okay, we take a kill though. And now I can start pushing the sadness button for my opponent. Let me protect here just in case Ninetales does something fruity. That was expected. I can't remember who's fast. I think I might be faster than the Ninetales still. I'm not. They're just gonna not miss every move that is below 75 accurate, are they, my opponents? Alright, I miss a 95 accurate move to lose. And it's holding the sash, so it really mattered. So it's a 2v4, but I'm in a really awkward spot because this god Ninetales can't fucking mix. But it has to miss eventually. It can't keep getting away with it. Just in case it's Sash, I'm going to put an attack in there. But I need to dodge a Blizzard. Maybe two. Actually, this is Choice Scarf, isn't it, on the Ninetales? That's why it's faster. So I'm going to need to dodge two Blizzards, ideally. Okay, it's not Scarf because it'll be faster than Whimsicott. Please don't hit my Charizard again. Bearing in mind as well, this wouldn't not be a problem if not for the crit. This is crazy. That last turn of Tailwind as well. I bet maybe it was correct to sack something else. If that's my last turn of Tailwind, I'm going to lose. I just can't believe that outcome. They hit 6 Blizzards, I think. Or 5 Blizzards, was it? 5 Blizzards. They crit the first one. Double crit it, actually. And I don't know if this kills. I can't risk it. I'm going to double it. Okay, that definitely now kills it. So Charizard's down. So this is a 2v1, I believe, but it is God that I'm fighting. So it'll be a tough matchup. They're going to Blizzard double freeze. Okay, freeze dry, so Blast Legion might be dead. Not dead. Well, that's the last of my Tailwind, and they still have it up. However, the damage I did earlier is going to matter. Because they can't take both of us. Albeit, this is resisted damage, but it is King Gambit, so I think it's going to do still pretty disgusting damage. If I had a Steel-type move, this game is 100% over. I think it still is over, though. The Tailwind doesn't really matter anymore. Unless Ninetales has got a healing move. What are we up to? Why? You know what? Let's not risk that. I'm gonna get crit, aren't I? I'm gonna get crit or frozen. Why did Sucker Punch not work? Wait. If Sucker Punch didn't work, it means he didn't lock into an attack. Or did I get the wrong slot? Am I dumb? Maybe I hit the wrong slot. Because it means he didn't lock into an attack. So how did you use Moonblast? Other than something like Copycat, but that wouldn't have copycatted that. I think. I'm very confused. Let me know why I couldn't Sucker Punch there. What did they do? I must have hit the wrong slot. I must have looked like I was fucking BMing him or something. Wait, no, it can't have been copy. I was gonna say maybe it was assist. Does that get? I don't know what it was. Because the only thing that moonblasted that game was Whimsicott. But it wasn't the last attack either. Okay, I look at your team and I don't see too many answers to Charizard. I do see Mega Lopunny though. And I see Corviknight, which would not love a Charizard, I suspect. I'm also seeing two Pokemon that Basculegion doesn't love. Namely, Mousehold and Lopunny. I mean, clearly like part of this comp is to set up Corviknight, which is why Mousehold's here. I don't really know what the Umbreon's here for. Your only Mega is Lopunny, so you're probably bringing Lopunny come what may. I might just bring normal Dragonite, which is not the choice I thought I'd be making today, but it's actually okay here. I think you're coming along as well. But actually, I don't really want to bring Basculegion or King Gambit into the bunny. This is why I really wish I put Inner Focus on you, which is what I was considering putting in your base for, but not multi-scale. I also didn't really plan to bring Dragonite with Charizard, but here we are. I mean, like, when Lopunny Mega Evolves, it gets fighting typing. I resist fighting. And I'm probably going to be wanting to push the Earthquake button on Garchomp at some point. And also, they have a flying type, and I would like electrical moves. What is going on here? Why is Umbreon in the lead? I'm really concerned. Not Umbreon, sorry. Sunscreen, yeah, that's right. Espeon. I don't think you're one of the Pokemon that gets Wide Guard. This could... Actually, you know what? This could be Trick Room Whimsicott, which would be really funny. I think I actually should have attacked with Whimsicott into their Whimsicott, because I think it's stats Trick Room. I think I can still deal with it, by the way, which is why I'm not really worried about it too much. Okay, never mind. It's fast as fuck, and it has Power Gem. Okay, that's my bad. I should have scouted it. So that's their Charizard answer. Holy shit, what the fuck is this thing on? It must have a Heartstone. That thing's actually pumping out so much damage. It's crazy. Okay, so this thing has Fake Out, so I might want to double protect this turn. I can't on you, right? That's instantly bad news bears. But what I can do is, they don't know if I'm Choice Scarf or not. So I'll lock into this, and I will protect here. So I think one of the ways I could win this game still is, if I can get up another Tailwind. Mega Lopunny, by the way, is extremely quick. Okay, got that call right, but... wait, it didn't Fake Out. Does this kill? I think you may have made a mistake here, buddy. I think with the defense drop, this is going to do a lot of damage to you. Lived on fucking 5 health. God damn it. Wait, it's Choice Scarf Espeon, that's what's going on. Okay, I think to win this I need a double protect. And then it's on. Actually, so what cycle I got multi-scale now? I missed the double protect, so I'd probably lose from here now. But if I could double protect and then reset up Tailwind, I think then I could have won. But yeah, there's just no world where I win anymore. Okay, hold on. Hold on. So you're saying there's a chance? My opponent definitely misplayed this. It might not matter at the end, but... if they just double attack there, they were gonna win. I guess they were concerned about E-Speed on the Dragonite, because it's not that unusual to run E-Speed. However, little did they know. So the issue now is... well, there's no issue, you can't kill Garchomp. Because if you fake out Garchomp, you'll die. I also don't think you'll kill the Dragonite. You don't have a spread move, which is one of the issues of Lopunny. I think you hard overthought this, because you were definitely both faster than me. Unless they never figured out that Garchomp wasn't quicker than them. I'd have to run it back. Maybe they thought it was Choice Scarf Garchomp. But I'm sure I switched moves. And I'm sure they checked the speed order. And I'll take the W. Why didn't they just attack? Was the issue that they didn't want to close combat the Garchomp because they would die to Rough Skin? And they didn't think they could kill the Dragonite with close combat or Power Gem, and they thought they would lose to the Maushold versus Dragonite matchup? Maybe that was the issue. Maybe Maushold had no attacking moves or something. Maybe it was purely supportive. Alright, if we see an Espeon, be worried. Alright, Scizor is the anti-Floette tech. They've got anti-tech for both Charizard and Floette, which seems to make some degree of sense. However, I feel like the Charizard is still pretty good here, actually. However, I might lead with the Cringe Gambit. I might even lead Cringe Gambit plus Basculegion and just forgo the speed. Talonflame would be a little bit problematic with that, though. But maybe we can have some fun. This would counterplay something like the Teacup plus Talonflame for setting up purposes. And have, like, Whim's Charizard in the back. Garchomp's not necessary here, albeit not bad. Actually, Garchomp's not bad here. Why am I bringing something... I guess I could deal with the Teacup with Basculegion. And the T-Tar. And the Talonflame. Okay. I think we're spoiled for choice. I guess the other question is, do I bring Whimsicott? But I feel like I want to bring some speed control. I'll go with this. It's a bit of a weird one, I will say. I feel like for the most part, you just want to lead Whimsicott. T-Tar Talonflame. This is actually the dream, I think. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give him one of these. And I've not pushed this button yet, but I'm going to use this on you. Talonflame's got an ability called... oh my god, Gale Wings, which increases the priority of flying moves when you're at full health. And I think they want to just priority Tailwind, but Aqua Jet also has priority. And I think my Choice Scarf Basculegion is faster than Talonflame. So I believe I can interrupt the Tailwind. However... I think the Tailwind will then still go off after that, so it's not a huge deal now that I think about it. The more I think about it, the more I think, actually, it's kind of dumb. T-Tar Protect, which is actually completely okay. In fact, it's optimal for me. Wow, Flare Blitz to King Gambit. Did not expect that. So Talonflame's down. I didn't set up speed. It's not down? Wait, it's going to die to the sand, though, right? So this is actually a really messy situation I've put myself in. I need Basculegion to not die this turn. But I don't want to put Charizard in this slot because both Basculegion and Charizard share an electricity weakness. A Rotom is probably going to T-Bolt this slot. I'm kind of surprised. Because I suspect T-Tar's actually faster by King Gambit. I'm really concerned. I don't know if this is choice on the Rotom. We need to figure that out. ran out of time. I'm so dumb. I suddenly thought, like, hang on a minute, the Sneasel might just take the King Gambit. I knew it. It's not choice. So I probably lose on that turn. If I set up Tailwind, I almost certainly win. Well, not almost certainly, but I've got a better chance of winning. Yeah, like, as soon as I thought about it for a second, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So I was like trying to like think about what to do, but I do want to get attacked by the Sneasel, so I was going to change my Sucker Punch target to Sneasler. I just overheated. Because actually the Rotom's not that scary when I'm in Tailwind. Such a dumb play. Like, seriously dumb play. Try and take a kill. I'm gonna get burnt on the Basculegion as well. They can miss Will-O-Wisp, to be fair. And this forces T-Tar back in. Okay. This is not good. This is real stinky, actually. Turns out if I played that one turn where if I just pushed an attack on both Pokemon, I'd be in a better spot than I am now. The only good thing for me is I've won the Weather War. However, I feel like winning the Weather War is a bit of a... a shallow victory, all things considered. I'm making a call. Alright, they made a call too. It was the right call. Okay, I think if I'm gonna win this, which I think is now like actually impossible, virtually, I think I need them to miss Rock Slide. I'm not convinced this gets a kill. I need this to kill and Rock Slide to miss. Possibly even a double miss. This was my fault for overheating. If I had 5 more seconds of the turn, I didn't actually kill because of light screen. Okay, so there's no world where I win, and the Rock Slide hit anyway. But yeah, if I had like 5 more seconds of the turn, I would have done something smart. I was going to Sucker Punch the Sneasler and just set up Tailwinds, which would have been fine. But I just overheated, did nothing, lose. Honestly, it's a good life lessons as well for the attacks. Your first attack in a slot should be Protect. Just in case that happens, assuming you have Protect in the Pokemon. Or an attack if you're just pure attacks. So you don't lock into a bad move if you run out of time. Like, Protect is normally fairly neutral as a turn. But yeah, I did take that. I didn't take that into consideration, so... we'll take an L on that one. I think had I navigated it correctly, we probably win the game, but I don't know. I still would have got burnt. It would have just taken the Sneasel early and I would have had Tailwind, but actually, did that really help me in the long run? Alright, hello again, Charizard. As you can see, people clearly think the meta is being resolved. We've seen basically the same team multiple times. They do have a Trick Room mode. I think we go back to this type of lead as well, just in case they lead Aerodactyl, because that's their Tailwind mode. And if they do Trick Room, I could Encore it. It might be Mental Herb, but if it's Mental Herb, you know, what can you do? You just have a sad time. Probably bring Cringe Gambit. And I don't really want to bring Dragonite in front of fucking Sylveon, but at the same time, I don't really want to bring Charizard. I mean, Charizard's not even that good here either. Except it's a Sylveon. It's like a 50-50 call, because there's like a line where the Charizard's just not useful, and there's a line where the Charizard is useful, but it just depends which line they bring. I'll go with this line. I think this is like hand wavy, the one which like has more opportunities to lead towards victory. It just because the Sylveon is really scary for me, so I have to make sure it goes away. Interesting. So, my opponent might not expect this again. They might expect it will shake. But this Pokemon scares me. So I want it gone. Could be Mega Aerodactyl as well. Which if it is, Whimsicott is probably dead, assuming Dual Wing Beat hits. Please don't have any defensive investments. Okay. So I think that's one of the scary ones gone. And they get a Tailwind up as well, but it doesn't really matter to me. And they don't know the speed orders yet. Okay, now the speed order doesn't matter anymore. I see what we're doing here. Downside of Aerodactyl, by the way, versus Whimsicott. I have priority Encore, so if you stay in, you're in trouble. Unless you have Mental Herb, in which case you're fine. You don't have Mental Herb because you use Mega Evolve. This is actually huge for me, because now that I think about it, I actually had a really bad line, because it has Unnerve, so I couldn't eat my Chople Berry if they had Low Kick. So I could have actually lost if they just predicted the swap. But they didn't. It was too juicy, that Basculegion. So what have they got in the back? Certainly some Mons. Please, let me back in. Unless they rage quit, which I don't think they did. I think it's my end. That might be a sign of this should be the last game. Just let me Moon Blast, please. I don't know. Nope, okay, it's done the same thing again, which is actually, in this case, not the end of the world. Low-key, kind of lucky. They're faster than me. But they're not holding a Tropical Berry, they're holding a Focus Sash. So if I... God damn this game. If I just got lucky, we'd be good. If I just Moonblasted, we'd be in a nice position because the Fragor would be low. Alright, that's probably the scariest Pokemon they had left. Fingers crossed. Wow, Twin Bee. Did not expect to see that. Right, what have I got left? Basque and Thingy. So I really want to get Tailwind up again. I think Mr. Gambit has done enough for today. I suspect I'm going to lose both mods this turn. But they can't reset up Tailwind. Oh, tell you what actually could be really smart. Hold on a minute. If they've attacked King Gambit and set up Trick Room, I could be in a problematic situation. Well, to be fair, I've always been in a somewhat problematic situation. Okay, they didn't go for it. Although they might have gone for Trick Room. We don't know that yet for certain. Wow, I'm faster than your Girafarig, or for Frigorif, sorry. Did not expect that. And honestly, Whimsicott can go now. Thank you. he's done his service. Now I think about it, this was not my smartest idea, but we'll make it work. I definitely should have got into Basculegion and just killed the Aerodactyl. Because Basculegion doesn't really want to fight the Farigiraf. To be fair, it doesn't really matter. I should be able to fight the Farigiraf from here, but... I can last respect... to be fair, I was never going to last respect the Aerodactyl either, so I think it's actually kind of no harm, no foul. Dragonite with multi-scale is probably going to have to live through the turn. I guess, like, a crit onto the King Gambit with a dual Wing Beat might get a bit messy. I don't know how much this actually does. I suspect it's in one shot there. But they can't take both Pokemon because of multi-scale. And you can't even flinch spam me. So I guess the flinch on the King Gambit could be slightly annoying. Okay. Slightly annoying. I don't think it actually matters. I should be faster in both cases. Actually, I think, strictly speaking, the best play, because they could try and stall my Tailwind, is to actually Aqua Jet the Aerodactyl, so that I get locked into Aqua Jet, so I can always outspeed the Aerodactyl and kill it, because the Aerodactyl is probably the scary Pokemon now. In which case, I'll just Dragon Pulse the other slot. I think Basculegion was faster than Aerodactyl. It's just if they get up... I'm so stupid. I've actually found the lost condition. It's fine. This will go down. It didn't go down, it lives in 1. I've found a lost condition that should not exist. I've lost. If I looked into any attack, I would have won the game. I forgot about Armor Tail. If I'd killed it as well this turn, I would have won. Alright, turns out, don't be dumb. I just got into my mind of like, what's the lost condition line? It's like, well, if... It didn't even matter. I'm so dumb. Because even if they tailwinded, who cares? I'm probably faster for regular if it tailwind. Oh, cries. I just completely forgot about the fucking giraffe. It was doing so little to me, I was like, oh, you don't care about this giraffe. It doesn't matter. Fuck's sake. Alright, I have to roll one more back. I should have just killed the Aerodactyl. That's all that mattered. Oh, it's Dragonite. This could be a little bit weird. Because Dragonite's quite a good answer to Charizard. I don't really want to get into a Dragonite v Dragonite matchup. How long until I'm on top of the board? Never gonna happen. I simply could not play enough games at this point. I really should be playing one more either. I'm like actually slightly tilted with myself. It was just such a fucking stupid thing to do as well. People have Shuckle, they don't put it in the game. They're too scared of it. I think literally, if I pushed any other button, I would have won that game. Except maybe Last Respects. I think I would have lost with Last Respects as well. Flip Turn would have won it. Wave Crash would have won it. I just completely forgot. Also, if I'd done 1% more damage with the Dragonite, I also would have won it. Is Shuckle a crab? No. It's kind of like a weird worm thing, I think, canonically. Or a turtle. It looks like a turtle, but I've got a funny feeling like the Pokedex entry is like, it's not a turtle, it's like some weird like worm thing. You know what? Aggression. All out aggression. Alright, we're gonna catch something. Wow, didn't expect it to be that way around. Gonna be honest with you. The multi-scale's gone. I have a sash, so this is fine. I'm assuming they have sash on the Pelipper, which is a normal situation. They don't have sash on the Pelipper anymore. I was toying with going after the... fuck's sake. I was toying with going after the bird. It's a slime, okay. I knew it was, like, not actually a turtle. So we tried Tailwinds, which, like, doesn't really matter in the whole grand scheme of things. However, what does kind of matter... I don't know how much this is going to do. I doubt it'll do 72, but it'll do a decent chunk of damage. Again, you fall into the potential trap, depending what your items are, of this occurring. You might just instantly swap, though. Fuck's sake, I'm just getting every read wrong. This is where Sunny Day on my whims would be nice. Just the unusual bit of tech. The issue I've got is they could, like, theoretically double the slot, which would be fairly annoying. Dude, that's just swapping around non-stop. And I keep not catching the good swap. There goes Disguise. Okay, so we're both in Tailwind. I'm gonna call the bluff. I'm gonna turn this game to a 50-50. Mimikyu doesn't get wide guard, does it? I'm gonna not Mega and assume Pelipper's coming back. Didn't come back. Garchomp takes one of these. Got crit. Good. Very nice. Do I get the kill with Earthquake? I could really do with picking up the kill with Earthquake. Okay, hold on a minute. So, they've got the fucking dragon left. The rain is manually ended. Tailwind is gone. It's just a fucking semi-guess. Okay, never mind. They've given up. It was a guessing game, to be fair. Me just like trying to predict when they would swap in and when they wouldn't swap in. I guess I always had a Pokemon in the back to swap the Charizard out to win the Weather War. Not like a fantastic game to end on, but you know what? Compared to the two before it, the two preceding games, I'll take it. I can't believe I fucking Aqua Jetted into Armatail for a Garif. I don't know what it is with like priority moves. I got caught by this with the Instruct in the previous episode as well. I just become like a complete melon. I just forget about like, bro, protect his priority and stuff like this. Oh god. What's my win rate in this thing compared to the other ones? I think it was like, okay. I think I've had higher than this one, but one of the games was completely bullshit. I just got hit by every RNG event known to mankind. One of them I lost because it was my fault, so I think I could have won like all but two of them. where I just got outplayed. I didn't bring the right Pokemon and that jazz. But yeah, you can kind of see, like, roughly speaking, like, why these are around the best teams. Also, bearing in mind, I'm not bringing the actual, arguably best Mega in the game, because I don't have a Turtle Fluette Mega. But Dragonite did a reasonable job. I do think it's kind of, like, a little bit wheezy, the Dragonite. It's good for, like, a bit of a coverage king, but it just doesn't feel like it pumps out enough damage. Like, not killing Farigiraf from there as well is, like, actually unforgivable in my eyes. Like, from half health with Farigiraf, you left on 1 health with a Stab Dragon Pulse in your Mega mode. To be fair, you could run Draco Meteor, at which point I suspect you're, like, actually doing sizable damage. But then you have the risk of missing, and knowing me, I would miss the attacks all the time. Other than that, yeah, just Pokemon which innately have just insanely high attack stats, even without the Mega, and are fast. Like, if you're a fast attacker or a special attacker, you seem to be pretty good in the game right now. So, not shocking, and the Pokemon that makes sure that you're the fastest of the rest, fairly good. And again, spread damage in Charizard, spread damage in Fluette, all kind of tracks. Like, the only exceptions, really, I think, on the strong list are Sneasler and, like, Incineroar to some degree, and maybe Sinistra, and they're for, like, faking out and slowing the game down a little bit, so they obviously have a place. Maybe if I was rebuilding this team as, like, an actual real team, maybe I'd slot Sneasler in here somewhere, because I was gonna say I didn't get much value out of Garchomp, but we got some value from the Garchomp. I feel like with 2 flyers, Earthquaking with Garchomp seems pretty reasonable, but if this was like Fluette, I'd probably drop the Garchomp and put the Sneasel back in and feel pretty happy about things. Anyway, that'll do it for this team. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why don't leave a like and subscribe? Everything helps me out. I'll see you next time. Where we won't Aqua Jet and Armor Tail. Alright, bye-bye.